All right, we're back, and somebody already on Facebook said when they see the both of us, they're not happy.
It's not that bad. It'll just be a little pinch this time, we think, right?
Yeah, I'm not overly impressed with this system, Chris. I mean, listen, it's not going to be like we had February 1st, but it's also not going to be a dusting. So, would we put it in the
Right.
light to moderate event? Moderate, maybe?
Yeah, I think for most people, it'll fall into that category. And again, it'll come in some stages too. It'll have a few different characteristics to it. It's not a straight up snowstorm, actually. So let's get to it.
Yeah, absolutely, absolutely. And right now, we're going to take a look at the satellite picture. And what this does show is, in developing, not really a storm, but folks, there's a lot of energy in the jet stream, that river of air that guides our storms. And what it's doing, it's carving out a trough, a dip in the jet stream, and there's a huge frontal boundary, a baroclinic zone, if you will, from southeast to northwest. And all that means is there is a big difference in temperature. And sometimes that's all you need to produce snow in the Northeast. There's a difference in temperature in a howling jet stream, picking up the Gulf of Mexico moisture at upper levels and also at the surface. And that's going to combine and cause a period of snow, actually, Chris, two periods of snow over the next 24
Yeah.
to 36 hours.
Yeah, one of the things you're pointing out, this is not really a specific storm system that will intensify rapidly off the coast, but sometimes these overrunning, we call them overrunning snowfall events, where the warm air overrides the cold air, and you can get a quick burst of moderate to even briefly heavy snow. So I think that's the thing we're looking at, exactly where that lines up. Looks more like central southern New Jersey, like you said before, gets that initial quick shot of maybe moderate to heavy snow for a couple of hours at least.
Yeah, we're going to call that a front end thump. Take that phrase any which way you like.
Well, maybe that's better than a rear end thump, but I'm not really sure. But anyway,
Whoa!
continue.
Cheers.
I don't
What do
know.
you got there? What's your cocktail today?
I don't know. It's my girlfriend made is working on some type of it's an old fashioned, but it's got a unique twist, and it has a little star anise in it, so it looks good.
I'm just
It's
drinking
fine.
a dry red Italian. It's all good. So what we got going on, Chris? Let's talk about that difference in temperature. Florida has lucked out the last week, and I cannot believe, and I haven't even talked to you about this, buddy, the amount of cold air and snow and ice that has really penetrated the deep south, Texas, Louisiana, severe ice storm. Why don't we take a look at this map right here and explain to the viewer what the heck is going on?
Yeah, well, the trough that you had alluded to earlier that was carving out in the middle of the country really went all the way virtually to the Gulf of Mexico or southeast sections of Texas. And you can see, look at those temperatures. They're in the 20s, basically almost flirting with the Gulf Coast. You're talking about temperatures in near freezing. In fact, in New Orleans, it was below freezing last night. Now, of course, there was no, Mardi Gras going on. But nonetheless, we're talking about really unusual cold. And in fact, some portions of Louisiana, some portions of northeast Texas, in about a 4-day period, received 2 winter storms. And that, somebody was saying one of the last times that happened was maybe in the late 1940s. So it happens. The cold does go that far south, but to combine with moisture and to get 2 ice and snow events that far south, that's very, very unusual. We really have been spared, for the most part.
Yeah, Chris, 100%. I mean, that's historic. I mean, the temperature in Dallas, I think, was like 7 above, and they had 4 inches of snow. So this is that boundary. Now, we're going to get into this. And again, what we're thinking is a front end thump of snow that begins between 6 and 9 o'clock tomorrow morning. And what that means is that initial push of warm air that supports that snow formation is going to come pretty nicely. Although the computer models, Chris, have backed off a little bit and placed the heaviest axis of that snow, the precipitation, because it will be sleet over southern sections, a little farther offshore. So we've kind of, it's not still a clear-cut situation on exactly what may transpire over the next 36 hours.
Yeah, I mean, this system, actually, if you really think about it, if we go back over the weekend when we were looking at it, initially it may have even gone to the west of us, and it was going to be mainly rain after a little snow. But the trend, which we always like to say, the trend is your friend, the trend in the models has been to take this thing further and further east, which makes it a colder solution, but at the same time makes it a little drier solution, so there's less precipitation to play with. So that's why we're talking about this being a light to a moderate type of event. But Again, we'll have to watch it. Overrunning scenarios, like I said, in a 2, 3, 4, 5 hour period can put down a quick, heavy snowfall, and then we'll get the sleet and the freezing drizzle on top of
Right,
that. But,
right.
again, the timing looks to be early morning and then working south to north through the
Right.
area.
And there's going to be two impulses offshore. It's not a major storm, Chris. There's not a deep area of pressure drops, but that baroclinic zone, and I know that's a meteorological term, meaning the difference in temperature on one side of the boundary to the other is dramatic. And that's what's causing this line of precipitation up and down the eastern seaboard. You saw Florida's temperatures in the 80s, where just north and west of there in the deep south, it's in the teens. So you don't need a deep storm, Mr. Cimino, to get snowfall in the Northeast. And that looks like with 2 weak impulses, both tomorrow front and thump, and then again Thursday night to Friday morning's front thump. You don't need a major storm system to cause that.
I think by Friday, especially or overnight Thursday night into Friday, there probably will be enough warming through the atmosphere at different levels to either create a sleet scenario and or even just going over to a little freezing drizzle and further south down the Jersey Shore, maybe even briefly over the plain ring before everything starts to kick back offshore. But again, nothing on Friday the way it looks right now, John, seems to be, even moderate precipitation rate. It should be everything should be fairly on the light side, I think.
I agree, Chris. I think, it's going to be light and the temperature is going to be hovering around freezing. I'm not really concerned about that. You and I have been doing this for decades now, and that front end thump, although not as intense with the heavy band of precipitation, we always have to be concerned just where that heavier axis sets up. And we can never determine that until the event starts to be, unfolding with the radar, and that's called nowcasting. I have a comment here, Chris, from Keith. I don't know where Keith is from. He's saying, why did the National Weather Service leave out northeastern New Jersey from the winter storm warning? Very strange, expecting less than Morris County. We don't do the watches, warnings, and advisories. And listen, because New York City is in a winter weather advisory where I live in Western New Jersey, I'm in a winter storm warning.
But we should also explain New Jersey is split by two offices, two separate National Weather Service offices. One is Mount Holly,
correct,
which handles really from what? Is it Morris County on
it's
west,
Morris
northwest,
County,
Sussex
south and
counties
west,
in it,
down to me,
Hunter counties.
Correct.
Right. So often you will see those advisories, watches, warnings look different because they came out of the Mount Holly, the Philadelphia National Weather Service office, and the New York City office. Boys will be boys, women will be women. They don't always agree with each other, so it happens.
I agree. Listen, the fact of the matter is we're going to get into the snowfall amounts and what we want to do.
That's what everybody
now,
wants to see.
Yeah. Let's first of all look at this now. The NAM is one of the computer models we use, and it has outperformed in our books, Chris, because we talked about this winter, and we have to go with it with this upcoming event. I mean, you agree with that?
Yeah, I mean, this whole winter, it's kind of ended up being the model of choice, even when in the beginning we thought, what? This can't be. And in the beginning, sometimes that model was thrown out, and then all of a sudden you realize with its consistency, it's latched onto the system so far all winter long. So why stop now? We run the table with it, right?
Absolutely. Again, that trend of whatever is your friend, whether it be the radar or whatever, it's this model. And I'm going to show you right now the 3-kilometer NAM just in. And we're going to take this step by step, and we're going to go into, this is for overnight tonight. Now, there's a little bit of an arc of snow. The blue is the snow that is spinning from eastern PA into northwest Jersey. By tomorrow morning, right there, is at about between 7 and 9. Now, the darker shades of blue is the heavier snow. I think there's going to be a front-end thump, Chris, and I think for most of the area, dropping 3 to 6 inches of snow within about a 6 to 7 hour period. Then comes the mix line tomorrow afternoon. Okay? Even though it's farther south and east, this model wants to put a warm boundary in there at about 10 to 12,000 feet, 700 millibars. And Chris, a light event or lightening up. The first thump lightens up mid to late afternoon, and then tomorrow, early in the evening and at night, there's a bit of a lull. Then the second impulse rides up. And again, what happens with that? The NAM does throw light snow back in the area for Friday morning, and then it shoots out of here. The GFS model, Chris, which is the American model, not fine-tuned and 3 kilometer, has it snowing at a light to slightly moderate pace. So we got to watch that as well. And I'm going to give you the snow amounts, Chris. I'm going to let you take this away because I know everybody wants to know, John and Chris, snow bros.
The
What's going
Snow
to
Bros.
fall?
What are the Snow Bros thinking?
Yeah, what are they going to call us in the spring and the summer? I don't even want to go there. So
We'll
let's
come up
take a
with
look.
something.
Let's take a look, Chris, and you can take this away at the snow amounts.
All right. And again, the area in blue, it's kind of a widespread area. And that's what we think. It's going to be sort of a broad, moderate to maybe light snowfall. We're talking 4 to 7 inches. There could be some locally higher amounts. And those are the areas that probably will pick up maybe briefly a 1 to 2 inch an hour type of a snowfall rate. If you remember a couple of Sundays ago, Super Bowl Sunday, that warm air advection, that quick burst of overrunning snow could be very heavy in a short period of time. I don't think we'll quite see what we saw then, but in some parts of the area, you may see amounts get close to 7 or even 8 inches. But I think probably in that 4 to 7 range, the New York City area, the 5 boroughs, 6 inches is probably your bullseye, give or take an inch either side of that. And again, your best chance for slightly higher amounts, maybe into central areas of New Jersey, as long as there's not a change over to sleet all that quickly. And then the area of pink, which you see the southern half of Ocean County on south, we're going 1 to 4. The lower end of that pink, the further south you go, there'll be more mixing. Could even be briefly over to a little freezing drizzle, just plain old rain. And then the 4-inch amount probably on the central portions of Ocean County. But I think 4 to 7 inches sort of will cover most areas. Initially, the thinking was Eastern Long Island might see more mixing, but now with this trend east, they're probably going to be in the same ballpark.
And a lot of people in Ocean County feel left out this winter, and I know they do this. The snow lovers. And Chris, real quick, I believe in. I want you to hear me out, and what your thoughts are on this. Right over in Ocean County, I really do believe that there's going to be a thump of very heavy snow, where that heavy axis sets up for maybe 2 or 3 hours from late morning to early afternoon, and I think they're going to pick up 4 inches of snow. Now, this is the bust zone right in here. Because I think tomorrow, late morning, it's going to come down pretty good there. What are your thoughts on that with what we're seeing with the latest guidance? Ocean County may get 4 to 5, 6 inches, and then it goes over to sleet, and they're done.
Right.
I'm not talking Long Beach Island, although they may be in it too. But
they're right on the cusp.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think the northern half of Ocean County, 4 to 5 inches, certainly of a quick, heavy burst of snow, not out of the question with the sleet on top of it. Further south, there could be mixing a lot sooner. And again, if the trend continues, though, a little bit further east and southeast with the boundary itself, then it will be a colder solution. That means even lesser amounts north and west. I put northwestern suburbs more in a 2 to 4, and then further south and east, they might be closer to the 6 or 7 inch range, going a little further down the Jersey shoreline. But again, the point about this is not going to be a crippling snowstorm, but in the midst of that burst of that, let's call it about a 3 to 5 hour period, sometime from mid-late morning into early afternoon tomorrow from south to north. I wouldn't want to be out on the roads. I wouldn't really want to be traveling if you don't have to. I know a lot of schools already have flipped over to, in-home learning, virtual learning. Yeah. And so, which is a wise thing to do because, again, by dismissal time, it could be a little messy out there. But this is not going to be a crippling type of a snowstorm by any stretch of the imagination.
Not at all.
But certainly a nuisance. And if you're if you're out on the roads in the midst of the worst part of it, it's not going to be fun. So again, that's all we're trying to say here. We're not going crazy. The sky's not falling. We're going to get through this one easily. It'll just be a little pinch, as they say, when they give you the vaccine. So that's what my expectations, at least that's the way I see it playing out in my head.
Yeah, I mean, listen, am I impressed by this entire system? I think it's just sloppy, atmospherically. If I could use that term. The models yesterday morning and the previous evening had a really hefty thump of snow front end for the entire area, where I was like, okay, this looks interesting. But that first call map is a first call map, and we didn't adjust. That's why we don't go bonkers with the first call. We pull in the reins a little bit, and now we fine tune it. And Chris, this is the last call, as we just said, for the tri-state area. Again, coming in 2 waves. The first front end thump for the morning hours. Through about mid-afternoon, it quits. Sleet works in. Ocean County, you get in there. You get that thump of 4 or 5 inches of snow, depending on where you are. Then there's a lull. And then the backside of the storm, or not even the storm, a second impulse rides up the coast. And it may give us an inch or 2 here or there. So this is before the changeover over Ocean County. 4 or 5 inches, 1 to 4 extreme south, then you're done. And your accumulating snow is done, Ocean County, most likely by mid to late afternoon tomorrow with that amount we see. And then that second impulse gives us maybe an inch or two for Friday. So all in all, a little bit of a complicated system, but in my book, I'm truly not impressed. It's a light to moderate snowfall, and it is what it is.
And the thing about this, though, is because of the two impulses or two waves, really the best way to describe them, is that it will be a long event in terms of when the first flake falls and when the last ice pellet or a piece of freezing drizzle or whatever falls. It's probably going to be about a 24 to 30 hour duration type of a system or event, if you want to call it that. But unlike the last time that happened, when we had heavy snow, more than half of those hours, that's not going to be the case. And that's why we don't expect it really to be a really heavy duty snowfall around here. But again, just a nuisance for the most part.
I agree.
Speaking of nuisance,
Tula!
This one has been bad today. Bad. Chewing through my cable wires and bad.
I have 3 kids virtual learning.
Oh, God.
Tula!
Goodbye, Tula.
Oh, I just had a comment here. Hold on one second. This is a great comment from Stephanie Lauren. John and Chris, thank you for doing these videos. My earth science students in East Brunswick have been enjoying tracking all of these storms this winter with both of you. Now that makes me smile. I mean, come on.
That's what it's all about. Absolutely.
And I actually did an assembly in person before this whole process had began 11, 12 months ago for her school in East Brunswick.
Yeah,
and you know East Brunswick.
I know East
pretty
Brunswick well.
Yeah,
still a resident.
You are still a resident.
I'm technically still a resident.
Paying those taxes.
Oh, please, let's not even get into that.
I know.
But
I'm sorry.
Was it middle school or high school level that you?
It was oh, she's going to kill me. No. I'm going to get the school. No, she's going to Churchill, Junior Churchill. Yes.
Churchill, yeah.
Yes.
Okay.
It was ninth grade. That's
a middle school.
Great stuff.
That's a tough crowd. Middle school that's a tough crowd. I've done the Churchill.
When this teacher, this educator told me, John, you grasped the students at this assembly, they're ninth graders. I was like, whew, thank goodness, because that's a tough crowd.
That's a very tough crowd.
The 3rd through 5th grade assemblies are they're awesome. I mean, they're all awesome. They're all awesome. But you know what it is? Because listen, I have 3 kids that went through 8th and 9th grade. They think they know it all. You know?
Right. Or they're too cool. They're too cool for the room, man. You're just an old guy coming in there talking about weather.
Absolutely.
I'm too cool to pretend I'm interested. You know. I've been there. I've had
somebody. Let's see. Hold on, Chris. Hold on. Hi, yes, John. Okay. She told me. I'm right. Churchill. Yes. Thank you.
It was Churchill. Yeah.
Thank you.
That's the middle school.
My daughter's in Churchill. Okay. We're really giving East Brunswick a plug, and this has nothing to do with you, Mr. Sumito.
No.
Somebody just walked past my house. What? Okay. What about you? Do you have any comments on your side?
I see. Thank you, John and Chris. Only forecast I enjoy and trust. Thank you. What else do I have here? I still have my daughter. Okay, let me kill this volume because I'm hearing myself. Yep. Okay. We've got the. Wait, here comes one. What is this? Jeff Tarazi, I'm going in. Hoping day shift. What? Somebody calling sick? Somebody's calling out sick? I have no idea what that is. Ro, I love tuning in to watch you. Hey, Ro. Ro is an old Ozone Park friend.
We need you two guys. Greg Butler. Somebody's saying, Steve Rosmarin, we need you guys back on TV. Well, hey, listen.
Hey, you get to dabble.
I dabble with CBS, you know.
Dabble.
You know, listen, life is life, and you roll with whatever's given to you, and that's what Chris and I are doing right now. Listen, do I enjoy being on TV? Absolutely. Do I enjoy giving a forecast on TV? Absolutely. Am I one of those on TV? No, I don't get off on being on TV. But they're you know, Chris, an accomplishment. Was it 24 years that you were at WNBC?
It's 24 years there, yeah. You know, I got
Amazing.
to be on the Today Show. And it was, as we said before, we've had this conversation before, I wouldn't do it any other way. It was fantastic. And I kind of feel like, good. That was a good high note. That was a good way to end. So wherever it goes from here, this is fun. I enjoy this. at this point, it's perfect. This is perfect for me right now to be able to
Okay.
still talk weather with a buddy and do
Yeah,
it
man.
and say cheers.
Absolutely. You know what? And I'm gonna go get a refill right after this. This was a nice little dry red. I got to figure out I got to check the label. Power outages.
Cappuccino?
Somebody just
Yeah.
said power outages. I say no. There's no wind.
I don't. Yeah.
No.
Yeah, I don't think we're in that kind of a thing, and we're not. I guess power outage concern if we go over to freezing rain or freezing drizzle. I don't think we're looking at ice accretion. In fact, there might be more sleet than anything else, which obviously bounces off of power lines. That's the thing people need to understand. Sometimes I think, when it's sleeting, I've heard people go, "It's hailing." Well, it's the way sleet is formed versus freezing rain and that whole thing. This is not really an ideal setup for freezing rain at the tail end. Spots could have some freezing drizzle at the very tail end, but this is not a freezing rain event. Not like we saw down south.
No, absolutely, Chris. And somebody's asking, driving into the city. See, what happens is the comments come up and then it scrolls up. Driving to the city from the Berkshires Friday morning. What am I driving into? Driving from the Berkshires to the city Friday morning.
Friday?
Maybe
a little
light snow.
That's
Yeah.
about it. Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. That's a
Well, Chris, anything else, Chris, on your end before we got to make some
checking.
din-din?
All's good here. I'm gonna reheat my lasagna that I made the other night. So I'm looking for that dry red. I'm gonna find one of those in the shelf now.
Yes, yeah. All right, guys. Listen. Bottom line is that this is not a big storm. It's a long duration. It's nuisance type snow and sleet. We will get an accumulation, light to moderate. If we wrap this up real quick, and we'll just give the snow amounts, and there you go.
One more time.
I mean, by the end of this thing, 4 to 7 inches by Friday afternoon. Ocean County, central New Jersey, you get your thump of snow tomorrow morning into the early afternoon before changing to sleet, and that's when you get your accumulation. After that, you're not going to really see much of an accumulation. Mr. Cimino, great stuff today, as always.
Good. Same here.
We got to.
Thanks for stopping by.
Yes, we have to think of a term after the snowbro term season is over.
When it's not snow, hopefully soon enough. But anyway, stay well, everybody. Thanks for tuning in.
Take care, guys.
Maybe we'll catch you later. All right, be good.